All right, everyone. So we've got another video here from Seth the Programmer, and this one is how strong is Perfect Cell Max? Now, it's interesting because we've talked about this before in any video related to Dragon Ball Superhero, especially when it comes to Cell Max. The question of how strong would Cell be if he was actually allowed to be finished, as opposed to what happened in the movie where you had Magenta who activated him before his programming was complete, and because of that he was, raging out like a monster who didn't even know what the hell was going on, at least not at first. It did seem like as the fight was going on he was starting to become more and more aware and a little bit more intelligent as the fight was going on. So maybe if he didn't die at that point and the fight continued, as the fight kept going on, maybe he would have started to become more and more intelligent and maybe a bit more dangerous, because a lot of people have been discussing about, maybe the reason as to why Cell wasn't as much of a threat as he could have been is because, his programming again wasn't complete, and because of that he wasn't allowed to fully utilize his powers. At least that's the discussion. Whether or not that's true, we're not really gonna know, because again, like the movie's over, it's out, Cell's destroyed, so I guess we'll probably never know unless we get like an official statement clarifying all of this. The only statement we got from Toriyama was if Cell Max was allowed to be completed, even Broly wouldn't have been able to take him down. But that just kind of makes it a bit more confusing, because which Broly is he talking about? Is he talking about current Broly, or is he talking about Broly from the Super Broly movie? We don't know, so we can't really like come to a conclusion just from that statement alone. So it just kind of keeps the debate going, which I don't know if that's being done on purpose. But let's go ahead and watch this video and see what Seth has to say about how strong would Perfect Cell Max even be. But before we do, guys, as always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And while you're here, remember to check the description of this video as always for a link to this video as well as Seth's video, so you can Seth's channel, so you can head on over there, watch his videos, subscribe to him, and go show him some support. And do that with every other content creator we react to here on this channel. And if you have any recommendations for me, if there are any videos out there you want me to react to and give my thoughts on, just let me know about it in the comment section down below. But don't link them, because apparently YouTube does this thing where they erase links. So just tell me the title of the video and the channel where I can find it, and I'll get to it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and
Goku versus King Piccolo, a battle against a demon that would decide the fate of Earth. Goku versus Vegeta, a battle where Goku trained with an otherworldly deity and obtained his many techniques and could combine the powers of everyone to fight against a blast that was going to vaporize the planet. Goku versus Frieza, a battle against the strongest being in the universe who is going to decide the fate of every living being in it, period. All of those fights and fighters are then combined by a super genius that can make brats stronger than Super Saiyans into a hyper-sophisticated super warrior known as Cell. With the fighting abilities of King Cold, Frieza, Saiyan Saga Goku, Vegeta, and the Demon King Piccolo, as well as enhanced techniques of others such as Tien Shinhan's multiform, Tri-Beam, and so on, Cell was really the best we've pretty much ever seen, said maybe Vegito and other characters later. Even with his defeat at the hands of Gohan, it was due to Gohan's insane potential and training spiking after working on it the whole series. He is a character who was talked about over 7 years after his defeat, and for good reason. He was basically perfect, literally. In Dragon Ball Superhero, Cell returns, but arguably with an upgrade as an organism known as Cell Max, who is now like a cell made with data spanning all the way to past Ultra Instinct Goku, and even with the old Cell's own data. This Cell Max, even when incomplete, apparently surpasses Goku, Vegeta, and a now potential unleashed Instinct Giga-powered Orange Piccolo, and forces Gohan to unlock a fan-made Gohan Blanco transformation that gives him powers like he was an old fusion character in old Dragon Ball Z against a movie villain. However, Cell Max is actually
it is actually kind of crazy that I still remember when the the movie was released in Japan, and then obviously because of that you knew spoilers were going to be all over the internet. And when it came out what happened with Gohan, I remember people were going crazy, like they could not believe that they actually brought the meme to life. Like that was something that I don't think anyone really expected them to do. But yeah, let's go ahead.
Complete the sense he couldn't use his true full powers consistently. Not only that, but it's hard to deny that this Cell looks like second form Cell, and while Cell Max is not in his second form, I thought it would be not only interesting to talk about what would full power Cell Max actually look like with a lot of new information I've been getting, as well as techniques he could use, but also how strong Cell Max would be hypothetically if he was designed to absorb Gamma 1 and 2, just like the old Cell was, and had his own perfect form. So sit back and enjoy this perfect Dragon Ball analysis. To get into Cell Max, let's first get into what he's like normally first, and then from there we can speculate further increases. As a small recap, Cell Max vs. Gohan Beast is noted in promotional material as the strongest battle we've ever seen in history, period. Or at least every battle before Black Frieza in the manga, as the promotional material and movie came out before that. If the superhero movie includes the anime and the manga, which it definitely is canon to the anime at least, it would include Ultra Instinct Goku versus Jiren, a battle that surpasses Beerus in the anime in Beerus's own words via guides. Gogeta Blue versus...
Well, that's interesting because, you know, this whole discussion about canon is something else that's been kind of going on in the fandom for a while, because it does seem like the manga and the anime kind of have their own continuity. And a lot of people have been wondering, like, the movies, are they canon to the manga or the anime? And I think Toriyama, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but he even like made a comment in one of the interviews, like maybe the movies are kind of their own thing, because even the movies kind of seem like they contradict the anime a bit, you know. This whole discussion of, you know, what's canon or not, I feel like is probably one that's never gonna be answered, because it really just feels like, excuse me, that right now you've got the Toei staff, you've got Toyotaro and Toriyama in the manga, but then you've also got Toriyama with the movies. It all genuinely feels like they're kind of doing their own thing. So it's like, I feel like it's kind of dumb to try to say what's canon or not, because there's just too many things going against it. Like, there's too many things to try to figure out, and I feel like it's something that's probably never going to be answered unless like someone comes out and says, okay, this is what the actual timeline is, like from the beginning of Super all the way to where they are at that moment, and we can figure out, okay, this is what's canon officially. Until that happens, probably better not to try to figure out what's canon or not, but that's just me.
Broly, Vegito Blue versus Zamasu, which in the manga is stated in the guides, once again, to rival Beerus in power. And just to clarify, as I've been getting a lot of very low IQ comments about this, the Vegito Blue being Beerus level claim is not based on Shin's statement. It is based on V-Jump literally saying so. I show this scan in every video, but for some reason every Beerus fanboy just ignores it and says Shin is wrong. I don't know, bro. They're crazy for this bald cat, man. Anyway, strongest battle in history also includes the God of Destruction brawl in anime and manga, Beerus versus Champa, potentially True Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego versus Gas, Ultra Instinct versus Moro, Angel Mirrors, and etc. Cell Max versus Gohan would scale above that. Now you might be saying, Seth, even if this statement is true,
which, I mean, if you think about it, is pretty fucking crazy. Like, the fact that this battle surpasses all of that, it might make it a little bit harder for people to believe. Now, granted, it's not unusual. Like, this has been happening in, you know, Dragon Ball for years. So I guess this isn't really out of the ordinary, but it's still kind of crazy when you actually think about it. Like, all right, what the hell are they gonna do next? Like, seriously, I mean, are they gonna have Goku fight Zeno, and then in the next arc there's gonna be another opponent who scales above Zeno, and this guy can not only erase reality, but he has the ability to rewrite reality as he wants? I don't know. It's just, it feels like it's honestly whatever the hell anyone wants at this point.
Let's take it as such for argument. Wasn't Gohan way stronger than Cell? Yes, Gohan was way stronger than Cell, but there are many facts we know about Cell, and I actually recently learned of some guides that would put full power Cell Max above Gohan Beast that you guys will find interesting. Even without the strongest fight in history statement, we know that Orange Piccolo in Toriyama's words is caught up to post-Granola arc True Ultra Instinct Goku in terms of power, and Cell Max turbo bullied him even while nerfed and incompleted.
Same.
So, there's no real contradiction to Cell Max's strength or Gohan Beast for the most part. Of course, though, Cell Max's incompletion in Toriyama's words that didn't let him surpass post-Granola arc Broly was the incompletion of his mind programming. Cell Max is a biological creation just like the original Cell.
Again,
He's
understandable.
comprised of much more data. The original Cell, such as his first form, was based on Saiyan Saga characters and Frieza's DNA amped times a billion, basically. As an example, in his first form, Cell launched a Kamehameha at Piccolo Kami Fusion, and Piccolo calls the Kamehameha basically old school. For those that don't know, as the series goes on, Goku and gang actually master their beam attacks with more proficiency and make them stronger. An example, did you know Master Roshi's Kamehameha, called the original Kamehameha, is the strongest variant of it in original Dragon Ball, making it possibly an even higher multiplier than the Super Kamehameha respectively. Obviously, Super Kamehameha versus normal is a great example as well, but my favorite example of beam proficiency is Vegeta's Gallic Gun versus Goku's Kamehameha, and despite Goku and Kaioken times 3 and 4 with this beam not really being nerfed in Daizenshu, as 8,000 times 4 is 32,000, he has the Kamehameha on top of that, it doesn't change that apparently. Vegeta's Gallic Gun could still face a Kamehameha from Goku, who should have a power level 6,000 higher than him. This could be due to the fact that his Gallic Gun is just more advanced. The original Cell had basically this doo-doo Goku Kamehameha, and as he absorbed the androids and got infinite stamina and ki, he evolved the Kamehameha to a level that was relative
Well, actually, technically that's not true, because we know that he doesn't have infinite stamina, and he doesn't have infinite energy, because we know that later on in the fight, Gohan was able to reduce his energy so much that he couldn't keep Android 18 in him anymore. Like, he literally ended up throwing her up, because like the way I've always seen it is that his energy has dropped so low that he couldn't contain Android 18's power anymore, and so that's why he had to, his body essentially like rejected her, and he tried to absorb her back in, but obviously Gohan didn't allow that to happen. So yeah, I don't know if I'd necessarily say he has infinite energy and infinite stamina, because if that was the case, I don't think that would have happened.
current Z fighters.
And it was clearly shown in the fight that he was getting a little bit tired. Yeah, we've seen it happen, because unlike, well, actually no, sorry, never mind. I was gonna say unlike Android, or Cyborg 17 and 18, he's biological, but they're also biological. They're humans who just have cybernetic implants. I nearly forgot about that. But yeah, we've seen him lose energy and lose stamina, especially in the fight against Goku. Like, Goku himself even notes that regenerating his whole upper body used up a ton of energy. And then Cell goes on to say, well, yeah, but that move you also used up a lot of your energy. And we've seen Cell get tired. That's why he got his energy back when he got the Senzu Bean. If Cell didn't lose any energy or stamina, then why would Goku feel the need to give him the Senzu Bean? You see what I mean?
Although, who knows how much stronger this actually could have been. This original Cell also had a very keen mind and was constantly bamboozling all of the Z fighters as he grew stronger, and even manipulated Vegeta into allowing him to obtain his perfect form by playing on Vegeta's insecurities and his ego. Cell also has the ability to regenerate, use techniques like Tien's doppelganger with much more proficiency, which I'll get into later, and the Tri-Beam, the Spirit Bomb, Instant Transmission, Destructo Disc, and possibly even the Kaioken. Yet Cell Max doesn't use any of these. Why? If anything, Cell Max should have a way huger arsenal than the original Cell. And if the original Cell could have that many abilities just by copying some very old school, archaic characters, what would Cell Max have after mimicking Moro, Miras, Yardtrap, Vegeta, Ultra Instinct Goku, and so much more? Alongside his extremely cunning mind that seemed far above everyone else, you can see why not having a mind, even power levels aside, is still nerfing Cell Max.
Well, the thing is that, he says that he should have, like, what did he say? Hold on, let's go back.
What would Cell Max have after mimicking Moro, Miras, Yardtrap, Vegeta, Ultra Instinct Goku, and so much more?
Well, the thing is, we don't know whether he does or doesn't, because we don't even know whether they were actually, paying attention to everything that was going on. We don't know if this Cell was made the same way that the original Cell was made. I think that the most that he has is the techniques that obviously that he had when the original Cell was made, because the Cell Max was made using the blueprint for the Cell that we know from the Artificial Humans arc. But we don't know whether they did the same thing that Jiro did, where he went around collecting DNA and being able to and thus allowing Cell to mimic the abilities of Goku, Vegeta, post Yardrat, and Moro and Miras. We don't know if that's the case. And also, I don't think there was any DNA for them left to like even if they went there after the fight, I don't think there was any DNA left over from the fight in order for them to actually utilize, because there was obviously a lot of damage done to the actual environment they were in. So whatever DNA was left, like let's say skin samples or hair follicles, blood, sweat, saliva, whatever it is, I feel like all of that would have been just completely destroyed. At least it should have been. If it was still there, then that completely contradicts it. But and again, I understand this is all just hypothetical. You know, like, hypothetically, what would have happened. I don't think he's actually saying this is what actually happened in the actual movie. But I guess, okay, if we're going hypothetically, like what would happen if you had a perfect cell who was able to mimic all those abilities, then yeah, you would have a pretty big problem on your hands. But yeah, as we know, like that's not what actually happened in the movie. I think that the only thing that would have made Cell Max more dangerous is if his mind was, the programming for his brain was actually allowed to complete, and he was able to like perfectly utilize all of his abilities and his power, as opposed to the way it happened in the movie where he was just raging out. And like I said, in the movie you could kind of see as time was going on, he was getting more and more capable with his abilities. At least that's what it seemed like to me. I don't know if you guys saw the same thing. Let's go ahead and continue.
Cell Max. Toriyama came out and said that if Cell Max was completed, that even Broly would not be able to face him. Now, of course, this is post-Granola arc Broly, but this statement...
Is it? Because again, like we don't know. Like it doesn't clarify which Broly he's talking about.
I may have actually overlooked quite a bit. Broly in Toriyama's vision is a standard of power, something that really displays a pinnacle of strength. And I recently have acquired some scans that I'd love to show you guys that may shed some light on what this trained Broly is actually like, and why Toriyama referenced him despite him being overshadowed by the Granola arc, where Goku and Vegeta were the strongest in the universe before Granola, Gas, and Frieza. This is Dragon Ball Super promotional material, but this one says, in quotes, "The strongest man dives in. History's strongest berserk warrior goes on a rampage in Dragon Ball Super superhero. The super warrior who went on a rampage in the last movie, Broly's appearance is now confirmed. Last time Broly engaged in a life and death battle with Goku and Vegeta, once he gets heated up, no one can touch him." End quote. And in another here, Broly is called the strongest man. Whether this means strongest mortal or male, period, is up for you guys to decide. Him being the strongest berserk warrior is pretty insane, as well as the statement nobody could touch him when he is going in full stride. Once again, nobody can touch him. Nobody. Also, Whis is a man. As random as that might sound, he is in the movie. And a man. Broly is the strongest man. Now, of course, Whis is not allowed to use his full power against anybody.
Of course, yeah, that's we know that's
are considered men. Then Broly is stronger than them pretty objectively with that weird statement. Also, don't say Frieza is an alien. I don't know if the term man counts because Broly too is an alien. So you might be asking,
he's also an alien.
How is Broly this giga overpowered to the point he is basically the pinnacle of strength in terms of statements? Well, in the superhero novel, we actually learned a bit about this, and it says, on Beerus's planet, Goku was in the middle of a kumite against Broly. His strength may be second to none, but Broly didn't know how to use it. That's why Goku is training. Not only does this reconfirm he is actually second to none in terms of power, but it also is proof that he has been training. In fact, he has been training for at least 3 weeks. In another guide, Broly is then stated as having the highest latent potential, meaning his potential surpasses even Gohan. Gohan, who went from Buu Saga level to Super Saiyan Blue Termina power level in a couple of hours. Remember, Buu Saga Gohan is weaker than Super Saiyan 3 Goku at the start of the Battle of Gods, as Goku was stated the strongest by Vegeta at the start of Super. Then remember, even a Super Saiyan 3
I don't know. Is that true? Because I don't know. I mean, we know that Battle of Gods only takes place like a few months, 6 months, I think, if I remember correctly, after the end of the Buu Saga. So I don't know. I mean, I would go, and we know, and I know a lot of people may not want to agree with this, but we know that at the end of the Buu Saga, before we get to that whole 10-year time skip thing, like before that, obviously, we know that Gohan at that point was the strongest, at least the strongest non-fused character. Like, if Gohan were to go up against, like, if you were to pit him up against Goku, Vegeta, Majin Buu before he started absorbing people, like Gohan would beat them. Like I think that's been made very, very clear. Like he was much stronger than all of them. So like would it really only take 6 months for Goku to immediately surpass Gohan? I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think that's true. I could be wrong. Maybe you guys disagree, but we'll see. And if you, okay, I'm just gonna say this because I know I'm probably gonna get some of these people. If you really think that Gohan wasn't the strongest at the end of the Buu arc, or again, the strongest non-fused character, so we're not counting Buhan and Vegito. If we're not counting that, keep in mind, there is a pretty obvious statement. Goku himself, when they were inside Buu, when they were freeing Gohan and the others from, from Majin Buu, Goku himself even said, even if we separate him from Gohan, Goten, Trunks, Piccolo, even if we do that, we still don't have the strength to beat this guy. He himself said it. The same guy that Gohan was absolutely destroying like he was nothing, like he wasn't even trying, and Buu couldn't do anything against him. That's the guy that Goku was talking about. This is the guy Goku was Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, and Vegeta was there. He knows how strong he is, yet he still said we can't do anything against the guy and recommended fusion. But Vegeta obviously said no. But Gohan was able to beat him, no problem. Hell, even Piccolo in the TOP arc in Dragon Ball Super said that at that point you had the power to destroy Buu, but you were playing around and it ended up biting you in the ass. So we do have confirmation that Gohan was the strongest at that point. Again, non-fused, just to clarify. So if you still want to say that no, Goku was stronger, Super Saiyan 3, it's like no, we have multiple statements from multiple characters that Goku was not stronger than Gohan after he had his potential unleashed by Elder Kai. We know that. That's a fact. I know there's a lot of people out there who may not want to accept it, but that is a fact. So if we take that and then we go to the Battle of Gods events, the events of Battle of Gods, which is I think confirmed to be taking place 6 months after the events of after the events of the Majin Buu arc. I don't think it would have taken 6 months for Goku to surpass Gohan. I don't think that was the case. I could be wrong again, but it just feels like a bit much. I don't know. That's just me, but let's continue.
Vegito Potara fusion couldn't reach the power of Ritual Super Saiyan God. Then Gohan surpasses that by hundreds to possibly thousands of times. In a few hours, he surpasses multiple Vegitos worth of multipliers in hours. And Broly has more potential and trained for 3 weeks. This dude was already strong enough to take 93 combos from Gogeta Blue while he didn't even know how to fight and flailed around like a baby, and now he has God training. This Broly is weaker than Cell Max if Cell Max had a brain. Not only is Cell Max if he was completely stronger than this God training Giga Broly, but Cell Max has moves. A lot of moves.
One more time, go back.
93 combos from Gogeta Blue while he didn't even know how to fight and flailed around like a baby, and now he has God training. This Broly is weaker than Cell Max if Cell Max had a brain. Not only is
which is like it is pretty crazy.
Cell Max if he was completely stronger than this God training Giga Broly, but Cell Max has moves. A lot of moves. The main power of Cell that people don't realize is one of his strongest unique abilities is doppelgangers. Yeah, like some Naruto shadow clone shit. Cell, for one, has Tien's multiform technique, in which in the anime, however, due to having an infinite ki regenerator, all of Cell's clones are equal to him in power, whereas the originals...
Well, again, we know that that's technically not the case.
Say Tien.
Although, who knows, maybe they did decide to add that in, like, Cell Max, but...
We're not. Even crazier, Cell can spit out multiple Cell Juniors, which are also called little doppelgangers of him. And yeah, in Daizenshu, every Cell Junior is equal to Cell in power. Not joking, by the way, that's actually stated. All of them. Now, you could say this is due to the fact Cell hadn't fully learned to use his full power until he fought Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, which is sort of implied in the anime, especially as he learns more about his strength even versus Goku. But yeah, every Cell Junior was equal to the Cell that fought Super Saiyan 1 Gohan, bare minimum. If Cell Max is stronger than Broly and has the same abilities, which there's no reason he shouldn't, he should be able to basically out a bunch of Cell Juniors that could all bully him by themselves. Multiple above Broly level giant red Cell Juniors. Imagine as well if Cell picked up fusion from watching Gogeta versus Broly with Hito's drones, like he did with every other technique the original did.
Okay, yeah. Again, sorry, I just remember this is all hypothetical and not stating that this is what actually happened in the movie.
In original Dragon Ball Z, and yeah, Cell Max is probably dummy nerfed for a reason. Yeah, but there's one last question to go over. What if this was just second form Cell Max or first form, and he could hypothetically say absorb the gammas? How much stronger could he get? The difference between the cell forms is pretty subjective, as we are never given a concrete number ever. And even with Perfect Cell, it seems he continues to evolve as time goes on, even when he actually is in the show. But we know that the difference between first and perfect is beyond insane for a few factors. The first factor to consider is that Piccolo was weaker than Imperfect Cell after he absorbed a bunch of humans, and when Piccolo was fighting Android 17, even after he fused with the God of Earth Kami. But did you know that Piccolo, with hyperbolic time chamber training, for the Cell games, he went into the time chamber, and the 7-year time skip to the Buu Saga is actually still weaker than Cell games Goku. I'm not joking. This is due to the fact that the Supreme Kai is as strong as Cell games Goku in El Manga Legendario, and in Daizenshu, it is confirmed Shin, the Supreme Kai, is actually stronger than Piccolo in the Buu Saga. And while Piccolo probably gave up in the tournament versus Shin due to his rank as Supreme Kai, the Daizenshu is further confirming that Shin was actually stronger than him anyway. This is probably why Shin was, say, able to take a bop from Majin Buu, who was damaging Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and Dabura, who was Cell level.
I think he was only in like Super Saiyan. I don't think he ever went Super Saiyan 2, which is...
And paralyzed Super Saiyan 2 Gohan with his telekinesis. This means that Perfect Cell, who is a bit stronger than Mastered Super Saiyan Goku from the Cell games, at least before his super perfect form, is stronger than Kami Fusion Piccolo training for almost 8 years straight. That's how huge the multiplier of Perfect is. And Mastered Super Saiyan as well. And in terms of more objective numbers, Perfect is at least over 2 times stronger than Semi-Perfect Cell, due to the fact that half-powered Mastered Super Saiyan Goku pretty much made everyone shook. And in the Cell games, once again, at half power, and Cell at half power, they're impressing literally everyone, which second form Cell...
Well, I don't even think they were at half power. I think they were just playing around. Like, they weren't even actually trying, and yet everyone else was still impressed. They were going like, Jesus, I didn't think they were this strong. Well, everyone except Gohan, as was confirmed later on in the series. And even throughout the fight, like, Gohan was constantly pointing out, like why is Goku not taking this fight seriously? Like, he was constantly like commenting on that.
Not be able to do. But like I said, that 7-year Piccolo number, you can actually stretch that pretty far. Remember that in the 3 years training to the androids, Piccolo went from second form Frieza to arguably stronger than Future Trunks as a Super Saiyan when he fought Mecha Frieza. Second form Frieza has a power level of around 1 million, and Future Trunks is easily over 150 million like Namek Saga Goku, as Gohan actually thought Future Trunks, when he was somewhat suppressed versus Yardrat Goku, was that powerful. Meaning Piccolo might have grown hundreds of times stronger in 3 years. Yet now he's trained for 7. And yeah, Piccolo always trains. This was confirmed by Toriyama in an interview I'll show on screen here. And a good way to maybe calculate it with a bit of headcanon, but if you believe that, say, Goten and Trunks in base form, alongside Android 18, are weaker than Semi-Perfect Cell at the start of the Buu Saga with Super Saiyan, they reach the level of Mastered Super Saiyan Gohan, who is still weaker than Perfect Cell. So, implying that even Semi-Cell to Perfect is probably...
Well, okay, yeah, I would say that, yeah, he's not as strong as Cell, but I also feel like we never really saw, like, Mastered Super Saiyan Gohan's full power, because, like, as you saw in the fight, like, he wasn't really all that into it. Like, he even kept trying to tell, you know, Cell, like, can we stop this? Like, I really don't want to do this. And, like, even Cell, keep in mind, Cell was constantly underestimating him. Like, he attacked him with, you know, a key attack that he thought was enough to kill him, but then Gohan just brushed it off, and all he got was like a couple of scratches, and he was just walking like nothing. Keep in mind, like, Gohan at that time wasn't really taking the fight seriously, so you could say he was holding himself back. And that's the thing that you know, I'm kind of disappointed about with the Super Saiyan Gohan versus Cell fight, is that we never really got to see what Super Saiyan, you know, full power Super Saiyan Gohan was really capable of, because again, the mindset that he was in. He wasn't 100% into the fight and had to be convinced to actually fight him.
Over 50 times if you're pretty generous, let alone first to perfect, which should be hundreds of times greater. So a perfect Cell Max that has Cell Max Juniors that all can one-shot Broly and possibly fuse with each other. Yeah, Goku is probably pressing the Zeno button. Even Ultra Instinct Gogeta will probably get steamrolled, especially if the Cell Juniors can fuse, and Hito probably even made Cell Max with that in mind to begin with, let alone this super hypothetical perfect version. Anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. I had a lot of fun actually making that. I hope you learned a few things about Cell. I think my favorite fact about Cell is literally just he can make clones of himself at no detriment to his power. I always thought that was really interesting, as well as the fact he can use like the Spirit Bomb, maybe the Kaioken, and all kinds of weird abilities. So I gotta say though that it's a huge wasted opportunity for.
Hold on, it may be possible that Broly, due to not being able to control his power, can't be stronger than Gohan Beast due to this statement. However, if Broly can control his power or can learn to mid-fight, he would win. I mean, again, it is possible. Like, I feel like these are fights that are fun to debate about, you know, with other fans, but it's probably something that we'll never actually see in the actual fight. I don't think so. It kind of sucks because it would be awesome to see that fight. Yeah, it would be like full-on fan fiction, but honestly at this point they kind of made it clear that, you know, they don't care if something's fan fiction. At this point, why not, you know?
Perfect Cell Max to fight Gohan Beast. That would have blew up the internet.
Oh yeah,
anyways,
absolutely.
Next time.
I think that's the end of the, yeah, so there we go. That's the fight. But yeah, I mean, perfect Cell Max, again, it's an interesting discussion to have. Now, whether or not he would actually win against Gohan Beast, I don't know. Which, by the way, I just want to say this. I feel like Gohan Beast, keep in mind, we don't know what the guy is fully capable of. Like, we don't know what this new form, we don't know what its limits are. We don't know how strong he actually is. I mean, he showed up. First, he, like, one-shot Cell, and then powers up a Special Beam Cannon, or a Makanko Saba, however you want to say it, that made Cell Max terrified. Like, he knew that, oh shit, I gotta get out of here, because if I get hit by that, I'm dead. Like, even in his, like, you know, rampaging state, even though he didn't have, you know, full access to his mental faculties, even he could tell, like, oh yeah, I gotta get out of here, I can't let that thing hit me because otherwise I will die. And we still don't know whether that was his full power. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I think it was just like a really powerful version of Piccolo's, like, you know, attack. And by the way, I had someone in the comments of one of my recent videos say that, well, Gohan can't even beat Cell on his own, like he needed help. And it's like, dude, no, he didn't. He did not need help. Yeah, Piccolo's help was obviously, you know, a big part of it, and it was very helpful. He was able to hold him down, but Gohan would have been able to destroy him on his own. Like, he did not need anyone else's help. I think that Piccolo only stepped in because he could tell that Gohan was about to, you know, like, you know, let himself get arrogant, let the power go to his head like he did before, and just needed, you know, to snap him out of it and tell him, like, dude, go ahead and finish the fight, because I don't want you to, you know, do the same mistake that you did before. I think that was it. I don't think that Gohan really needed anyone else's help, because remember, Cell attacked him and Gohan didn't even flinch. Like, it didn't even break through the aura of energy that he had around him. Like, dude, Gohan was way above Cell Max. And I think that was the whole point of the movie. Like, they wanted to repeat what was already done in his fight against Cell in the Artificial Humans arc, where, you know, Gohan powered up so much that Cell, even using his full power, couldn't do anything against him, which we did see happen in their original fight. Like, Perfect Cell powered up, we saw his full power, he slammed Gohan, you know, hit him straight across the face, and Gohan was like, that's it, that's all you got? And then just immediately rocks him by hitting him hitting him in his abdomen, and then giving him an uppercut, and Cell was done. Like, he was out. Like, he couldn't believe that literally just 2 hits from Gohan was able to knock him out, and he was staggering. And you know, obviously the anime does a bit more, where, you know, they extend the fight. They have Piccolo, or excuse me, Cell used the Makanko Sapo, and then the just Kienzan, and then the that attack where he like fires multiple ki blasts where it just passed through Gohan. That was in the anime only, but I did kind of like that because it once again like shows you just how insane Gohan is. But in the manga, it just immediately went from that to Cell firing the Kamehameha, and then Gohan firing back and completely overtaking Cell's Kamehameha that was meant to destroy the Earth and kill Gohan and the others. Like that was the energy that he put into it, but Gohan just bounces it back like it's nothing. And he fires an even stronger Kamehameha against him that I think Gohan purposefully made it so that it wouldn't kill Cell because he was in the mindset of, no, I'm gonna torture this dude. I'm gonna make this dude fucking pay for everything that he did. Like he was completely fucking savage, Gohan at that point. So yeah, no, Gohan I would have absolutely been able to defeat Cell Max because again they were trying to just repeat that whole thing. So if Cell Max was at a point where Gohan wasn't able to beat him on his own, that it would have completely defeated the purpose of the whole movie. But hey, I mean, what do I know? I'm just using the actual movie as evidence. Apparently, apparently you can't really do that. With that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about everything that he said right here? Do you agree that Perfect Cell Max versus Gohan Beast was a missed opportunity? I mean, I think so. I would have actually liked to see that, but I feel like that would have been a little too on the nose. You know what I mean? Even though Toriyama, yeah, he was like kind of making it on the nose what he was doing. I feel like that would have been, you know, like a step too far. But yeah, and everything he said about Broly, I mean, you know, using the scans and everything that says about Broly being like the strongest, having potential that's rivaled by no one. I mean, so far, like, it's kind of that it is kind of implied that that is the case. But with that being said, again, as always, guys, I'll throw the question to you guys. What do you guys think about all this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And while you're here, if you want to support the channel, as always, consider leaving a like, sharing this video out there. Make sure to click on the subscribe button if you haven't. Make sure to ring the bell for notifications. And if you have any recommendations, let me know about them in the comments. And remember to check the description for links. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.